Welcome to round 10 of the Rolex Sports Car Series in the EMCO Gears Classic from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Till, joined as usual by Dorsey Schrader in the booth, Calvin Fish and Chris Neville in pit lane. And together, we'll be bringing you all the action. And talk about action, Dorsey. We've seen plenty of it, and the green flag hasn't even fallen.
That's for sure. Wayne Taylor in qualifying sent something terribly wrong. The fuel rail on the left side of the engine split, pouring gasoline all over the car.
Taylor thinks the fire is out, so he lays down, but
no, it's being fueled. The fuel pumps are still on. It's pumping raw fuel. This car is burning feverishly.
And you see Taylor pointing. He's okay. He's pointing to Bill Riley, who comes out on the track and talks to him. But a lot of emotion going on there on the part of Wayne Taylor. And for more on that, let's check in with Chris.
Wayne, we were just taking a look at quite a bit of the footage from yesterday in qualifying when the car caught on fire. What were you seeing inside the car as you were going down the back straightaway?
Well, as you said, it was in qualifying, coming out of turn 2 up at the keyhole. I smelled something weird, and on the change, I think from 3rd to 4th, there seemed like a little backfire. And I continued down. I think I got into 5th gear, and it got really hot in the car. And I looked to the right, and basically the cockpit was filling up with black smoke. And I radioed that the car was on fire. And Bill said, "Get out." But it's a lot easier to say get out than truly trying to get out, because you get disorientated. And it became, I mean, instantaneous. The whole cockpit was black, and I couldn't see anything. So I opened the door and leant out of the door to try and get to the car into a safe place. And I couldn't see the dash, so I couldn't hit the fire extinguisher button, but I think I turned the ignition off, jumped out, and, you know, then you've seen the fire.
Now, once you were outside of the car, realized you were safe, you took a look back at the SunTrust machine. What were you thinking at that point in time?
Well, first was the championship, you know, and it was disturbing because it seemed like it was forever before anybody got to the car. But now, having seen it, you know, obviously their response time was not as bad as I thought, but everything was going in such a slow motion for me at the time, and all I could think about was the championship, and this car is burning to the ground right now.
We watched it from the booth and said their weekend is finished. You take a look at what the car looked like when they rolled it in, but Dorsey, these guys, I can't believe the car's out there.
Phenomenal. They stripped this car, as you see right here, down to the bare bones, to the chassis itself. Took every piece of wire, every piece of hose, tubing out, walked all night into the night. Only guys here working. And this morning, a miracle, a new car has been built.
There's a list of the guys who worked all night long, Dorsey.
Look at this, $150,000 in parts to rebuild that car, 250 man-hours. All these guys put in the job last night.
The bridge says Mid-Ohio, most competitive in the U.S. Dorsey, take us around. Tell us why.
It is one of the most competitive, and you need somebody's help to learn to get around here. Long racetrack with a lot of corners, not a lot of passing areas. The good ones are here. Up into turn 2, down here into turn 4. Those are good places. Turn 1, a little bit iffy, but you might be able to make it. Now, if anybody knows how to get around here, this staff, this announce booth knows. You're an instructor, Calvin Fish an instructor. All of us, Chris Neville, myself, we've all raced here, we've won here, and we know how to get around here.
Well, as you look at the Mobil 1 starting grid in the speed strip across the top of the screen, there are also going to be some keys to winning this race, Dorsey. We will always have them. Here they are.
Traction. Now, these engines have traction control and anti-lock brakes. This is a very slippery surface, so you really need to have those management systems in place and working well.
And we've had some rain, so there's still some weepers out on the racetrack, some spots of moisture.
Playing the yellows, no question. We're going to get yellows today, folks, and who can capitalize on those and get what they need done during that time, that's going to make a big difference.
Traffic, patience, penalties. We saw that at the last round at Watkins Glen, and this is a very tight circuit, not a lot of places to pass, as you said. You get impatient, you bump somebody, you're coming to pit road.
Yeah, Mark Raffoff, director of competition, said in the drivers' meeting, if you start pushing people off the racetrack, chopping them, you're coming in. Championship implications. There's a couple guys running this championship that have to play it out. Got to get to the finish line, but there's a lot of cars in this race, some new ones, the 99 car, the 60 car. These guys are in it for the moment. They want to win this race. They can't tangle up with these guys in the championship.
And we talked to Wayne Taylor and Max Angelelli about that, having to start back at the back of the Daytona prototype field, and we talked about it, Dorsey, and we talked about taking the shot when you've got it. Don't try to create it. You've got to be patient. You've got to make sure you get it done. Take a look at our onboards. We've got some GT cars as well as Daytona prototypes. The number 05 Porsche, the Pontiac GT-OR, and the number 16 BMW, the all GT cars, and then a couple of prototypes for you, the number 2 Pontiac Crawford and the number 58 Porsche Fab car. Now, at Mid-Ohio, it's interesting. The start-finish line is on the front straightaway where you would expect it to be, but the run is so short into the first turn, they elect to start them back on the back, Dorsey. So the race has actually started already because they've come past the start-finish line, but the green is not waved.
Right, the timer's going, but the green doesn't happen until they're on the back straight. It gives everybody a little bit straighter run down into what turn 7, which is going to be the first corners they are. Now, these are the other cars, and the GT car, the Grand Sport, I'm all messed up here. But anyway, these cars have a split start, and these are about a half a lap behind. The prototype cars will first get the start. You see them lining up for the start, and the GT's behind that.
DP's out of the keyhole, and it looks like Alex Gurney gets a big jump. Now they'll make this long run down to the end of the back straightaway. The green flag waves. Gurney, a tremendous jump.
Tremendous jump, and I got to wonder if that wasn't too much of a jump. We'll find out. It is side by side into the first corner. Old tires, it's been raining. Green racetrack.
Well, and a lot of dirt on the racetrack, Dorsey, because a lot of guys out in the rain earlier this morning bringing mud back on the racetrack. And as you mentioned, old tires, it's going to take a half a lap, maybe a lap or so to get temperature in those tires.
One of the things at the Mid-Ohio racetrack, that patch, you see that concrete patch, those are concrete sealed and they're really slippery. Here's the GT start.
Justin Marks in his BMW on the pole. Ron Fellows outside. Who do you think has the experience there, Dorsey?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ron's got the experience, but Justin got the jump.
And that's what matters here at Mid-Ohio. Long run down the end of the back straightaway, and you talk about a jump. Look at the sister car. That's the number 22. Sliding up alongside Ron Fellows, saying, I don't care what kind of experience you have. I'm going side by side with you. That's Ian James in the 22. Sticking it down inside Fellows as they go through madness.
And Ron Fellows is a very clean driver. He'll give these drivers enough room. He won't like the fact that he's been passed right there, but he'll let it settle down. He'll go back after him.
That's age and experience before youth and exuberance. Ron Fellows saying, hey, there's a long way to go in this race. I will take my time. We'll get there. And look at the lead, Alex Gurney.
That is amazing, that lead that Alex Gurney's got. Of course, he did get a good start, but he's extended it more than that. 19 to put the car chase. Now everybody actually warming up.
Well, we've got to report we've got a car in the gravel. We talked about this coursing. Full course caution. It is out. One of the good things is the safety. It's number 15 Daytona prototype. That's Chris Bingham behind the wheel right now in the gravel. That's over in what I call turn 13. The track map here, when you run straight into the keel, the corner numbers change, but a very quick left-hand corner. Bingham just stuck on the outside. The great thing about Mid-Ohio, a very safe racetrack, a lot of tire walls, a lot of gravel traffic. But the bad thing about gravel traffic, Dorsey, you know it.
You get stuck.
It's
and
that.
the pace car's out, and it's going to be out. They're going to have to tow Chris out of that gravel traffic.
And I like the number on the pace car. It says P1. And he is in P1. He's at the beginning of the field. Well, the pace car is out while we get Chris Bingham out of the gravel trap. We'll come back to Rolex Sports Car Series action from Mid-Ohio right after Alex Gurney will bring the field back around for the restart. And what a break, Dorsey. He's got a GT car in between himself and the second place Daytona prototype.
He used that GT car to his advantage. He got the jump, and wait till you see the lead he's got. It's going to be huge.
Now everything is mixed up in the back. It's Daytona prototypes mixed in with GTs. And look at the lead.
Here comes Luis Diaz trying to have a run. Not yet, though. Wasn't close enough.
Wasn't going to work that time. Only fitting that Gurney and his Pontiac should get such a jump. First Hour Racing is powered by Pontiac, designed for action. And Gurney certainly showing us plenty of action this weekend. He has been fast in every session in that Gainesco entry.
You had that replay, that restart perfectly. Look at this, a good draft by the Brumos Porsche trying to get position, little defensive line there by the 0-2.
Yeah, Court Wagner said, no, not this time. Look how wide I can make this Riley chassis. But Darren Law, he and David Donahue, a great job this weekend taking that Porsche Fab car up into the top 10 in qualifying. And from what we've seen this year, you wouldn't think that that combination would be good on this racetrack, Dorsey, but it's been very good.
You know, they complain of a lack of grip or downforce, and this track needs all the downforce you can make, and it surprises me too. Both Porsches, J.C. Francis' car as well, and Harley Haywood, the 59, that car qualifying well.
Yeah, J.C. France doing a great job. He was in the top 10 in a lot of practice sessions. That's a big feather in his cap. You look, Michael McDowell has pulled out from Diaz a little bit, and then sitting back there in the 4th spot right now, Derek Bergmeister in the number 66.
there's your leader, and look at the lead he's got because of that great restart. But, you know, I've been saying on all these restarts, he's a little bit too much. Grandam is giving a warning. Look at the lead he's got before anybody comes around. Of course, now, some of that's because you have a GT car that's in second place. And it's Gurney's position to try to take off like that. But Grandam is saying a little bit too much, boys. Pull that back a little bit.
I got to say, I don't understand that one. And I'll go on record for that. I understand the jump on the start. I think the jump on the start was pretty big. But on a restart, you can't help it when you got a GT car behind you, and that prototype is going to launch a lot quicker than the GT car.
And the GT car was just caught off. You know, that was, you know, that's a difference between a really experienced driver in one car and not so experienced driver in the other as well.
Well, exactly. It's like I said, I don't understand that one. I'm sure the guys will disagree with me when we have our meeting next week. But as far as I can tell, it was all fair play on Alex Gurney's part. No matter, the officials have given him a warning. He said, I won't do it again. As you look at McDowell still leading Diaz. Calvin, what have you got?
Well, Michael McDowell and Nemo Gidley really expected this to be one of the toughest tracks they race on, very physically demanding around mid-Ohio, of course, similar to Barber in some respect, very twisty, a lot of G-force here. So they tried to think about how they could simulate best the cockpit conditions. Very high temperatures, of course, is the main thing. So they found a form of training called hot yoga, where they go into a room performing yoga for 90 minutes, about the same as a maximum stint they'd run here during the race today. Being conditions about 105 degrees, but big wreck on the track, guys.
3 cars I could see, 4 cars, Calvin, at least.
The 23 Pontiac GTO, the number 6 Daytona prototype.
Could be the 8 that we're looking at the back end.
Hey, ball, is
no,
it still drivable?
Number 2.
There's left of it, guys. I got hit. I've got hit in the rear twice, really hard, spun around, hit in the front really hard, but there's nothing left of the car. Nothing left of the car. It's fucked up beyond belief.
That's Paul Mears on the radio. Obviously, we have to apologize for his language there. Very, very upset. Look at his car, and why wouldn't he be? There is absolutely nothing left of the Mears Motor Coach entry. Paul Mears behind the wheel.
And the 2 car, the entire front end is completely wiped off the 2 car. Both those cars, I will have to say, will be eliminated. I would have to imagine they would. As well as we've got one of the Porsches, the GT cars, mixed up in that.
It's one of the Synergy Porsches, and I can't tell which one it is. It is the 81 Synergy Porsche right now with May Van Wyck behind the wheel.
And we got a...
Chris, what have you got?
Brian, down here with Mike Shank. Mike, what's going on the radio? What are you hearing from Paul right now?
Paul got hit real bad. I haven't seen any video yet. He says he's okay. He says the car's destroyed, so I'm not sure. We'll see.
Any idea who hit him?
Sound like Milka did maybe in the 2 car possibly. I don't know.
Well, this is such a shame for this team. This is their home track. They had 2 very fast cars here all weekend long, and it looks like things aren't playing out well for the 60 or the number 6.
I think he got hit more than once. He just didn't get popped. As you can tell, Dorsey, it looks like he was a speed bag for somebody. Let's see if we can find out what happens.
Well, it's already happened there, that's for sure. And there's going to be another one involved in a minute, I think.
I'm sure there's a waving yellow flag. Now the GT leaders come through. Everybody's making it through. GTO,
Here we
May
go.
Van Wyck. Oh,
May
she
Van
just
Wyck
doesn't even see it. And then the 23 spins into it and flash fire in the back of the 6 car.
And by the time the 23 got there, there was already antifreeze and oil and everything, so he had nothing he could do. Watch this on board at 2 now with Milka Dunham. She spins.
Here comes Mears. He gets into her.
Yeah, he runs into her. Of course, now we know that May Van Wyck is coming over the top of the hill.
Hold on.
And not looking far enough.
There's the waving yellow flag. It's out. Everybody should see this. The waving yellow flag is out. Oh, and there's the impact. Big impact. And that's from the 23 sliding into the side.
And of course, the 23 was in water and oil and so forth.
Calvin, you're with the 10.
The 10 car is in. Wayne Taylor has jumped down Max Angelelli, and there's some damage to the left front nose here, and the team look like they're going to change this, so looks like a good clean change. I don't see any other bodywork damage like to the splitter, so this new one should bolt on pretty cleanly here, and this is a bit of a risk. I mean, they've got a good full lap here under caution to get this task done, and I didn't see too much damage, so I'm a little surprised that they're doing this, but the team know what they're doing. When the car's been beat up like it was yesterday, some of these body panels don't necessarily go back together in the normal fashion.
Wow, Calvin, I'm watching him screw the front end on, so obviously with some sheet metal screws, this wasn't the way things were intended.
On the screws falling out of
He's screwing that
over there.
He's screwing that into the carbon fiber under tray is what he's doing to try to hold the lip of the nose down.
They are not taking any chances. They want to make sure, and with all the work that they put in, you saw it, 250 man-hours, $150,000. They're not going to lose it for a 25-cent fastener on the nose. We've seen plenty of action from Mid-Ohio. Stick with us. I'm sure we'll see more when we come back.
Turn it all the way off, everything.
Justin Marks coasting at Mid-Ohio. Let's listen. He's trying to get it restarted. I hear nothing from the engine compartment. He's just coasting right now.
You heard him tell him to cycle.
Nothing. I got nothing.
Turn everything off and restart it. Restart it.
Keep trying it, buddy. Just keep trying. That's all we can do right now.
See the 6 on the dashboard right there. Indicate.
Justin Marks trying to help Joey Hand to that GT championship. They sit 11 points behind Craig Stanton right now, but now they have problems. There's so many electrics on these cars.
I don't want to fucking...
Up. There's that radio again, the emotion on the part of the drivers. We have to apologize for that language, but obviously very emotional in the car. Wants to get this thing restarted. Right now, Dorsey, no fire.
No, he's got nothing at all. That 6 was the gear he was in. I think that's what it should have been.
But I wonder.
Listen here. It's dead. No throttle. He's got no ignition at all right there.
My question is the engine just idling? Has he lost the electronic control unit for the throttle? Chris, what have you found out for us? He's back underway.
That's right, guys. It was the throttle. That's an electronic throttle in that BMW, and he had no throttle response there, so they told him, you know, just try and shut the car off, try and get the computer to reset, and that's exactly what's happened. So back underway, but problems with the 16 car.
There's Joey Hand sitting up against the wall. He's seeing the championship pull back out. Craig Stanton right now. David Murray driving that Porsche for Craig Stanton, and they're doing well. And now the 55 car off in the gravel. No, 2 cars. That's what we call China Beach down at the end of the long back straightaway. It looks like the 55 and perhaps the 05 of Matthew Al-Hadif. I can't really tell. That looks like the paint scheme on that Porsche, and definitely the blue Corvette.
Betcha I know what happened here.
The 55 had gotten together with Max Angelelli while we were at commercial break. Yeah, you look at Matthew Al-Hadif sitting in his Porsche right now.
I'm fine. I can tire. I just need to get towed off.
Yeah, you can hear him say, I'm stuck. You get into that gravel and
You're
it
not going
sinks.
anywhere. Now there's the 55, which was also involved a lap ago with the car that was burning yesterday. Watch the 10 car right here. Max Angelelli working the keyhole, and the 55 just turns down on him. Just didn't even know he's there.
Zach Arnold behind the wheel got a little wide at the entry to the keyhole, and Max said, oh, he's going to let me go. Drives it in there, and he just closes down on him. Let's ride with Al-Hadif.
Oh, watch what happens down here in the heavy braking zone, long before the straightaway. Just out of control, it looks like.
Oh, and you see, I wonder if
Maybe
the
it'll help, you
55 got up into the back of him, the leader on pit road, Chris.
That's right, Brian. Our overall leader in pit lane, Alex Gurney, bringing the Gainsco machine into pit lane, handing it over to Bob Stallings. A lot of action down here in pit lane right now. All of the leaders coming in, doing fuel and tires on this car. Bob Stallings getting behind the wheel. Now, the strategy early on was to put Alex back in the car at the end of the race, but this is a timed event, and right now we're just fighting that clock right now, so it's going to be really interesting to see if Alex gets back behind the wheel. Cal?
Well, the 66 car is in. Remarkably, the 19 decided to stay on course. The car was running second, so 66 car is in. Bergmeister out, Pappas in. There's a fire at the back here as he tries to fire it back up. Go out. Yeah, as soon as you get the exhaust moving there, puts the fire out. Bit of a delay in the driver change. Not the cleanest stop. I don't think they lost too much ground under caution here, guys.
And the 16 is broken down, Calvin, at the exit of pit out. It is, I guess, had its same thing. The throttle, fly-by-wire throttle is broke.
The idea that you can recycle it and reset it is all well and good, but you think if you've got the problem one time, those electrical gremlins are going to come back, and it looks like they have for Justin Marks.
And Justin Marks did, I would assume, a really good thing. He's probably on the racetrack, or trying to get by, and the car died on him again. He pulled it off the road in a safe place, and they can go up there and take care of it now.
Huge championship implications in the GT class right now as David Murray continues to circulate around the track without a problem there. The 09 on pit road. Chris.
That's right, Brian. The 09 running 10th place right now. These boys have shown some speed off and on this year. Looking good here this weekend. Doug Goad just hopped out of that car after running in 10th place. And Doug Goad right now leading our Truman Award. And you'd think when you look at their performance, you kind of scratch your head and say, why is he leading that? But those points are based on not only finishing position, but also miles driven.
You okay there, bud?
Chris working hard down in pit lane. The 19 car did not come to pit road. Interesting strategy there, Calvin.
Indeed. Steve Cameron can answer that question. Steve, you decided not to stop here with the amount of yellow. Are you thinking one-stop strategy?
Pretty much that's it. I mean, if we can get some more yellows like this, we can do it on one stop. We've got, a fair bit of fuel left right now, so we've got a fair few laps left before we need to come in. And so with the amount of yellows we've had, we have some confidence there'll be another yellow here within the next sort of 20 laps or so.
Okay, well, certainly they're rolling the dice here a little bit. The BMW from Dynan gets excellent mileage. They're one of the tops along with Ford in terms of the fuel mileage stakes, so we'll see how it plays out, guys.
For one highlight from the EMCO Gears Classic at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Alex Gurney, a great jump in the start, and then in the GT class, another good start, but this isn't good, Dorsey.
Chris Bingham gets put off the racetrack and in the gravel trap, first caution of the race.
In the green flies again, and look at the PTG boys.
Jumped the curb, almost made contact there. Position.
Mark Patterson gets introduced to the finer points of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Another restart after that caution was ended.
And that was the big no-no for Alex Gurney. They said, you got too big a jump, and here's the big crash.
Milcaduno spins. Watch here as Paul Mears couldn't go anywhere. Just big contact till now. Mae Van Wyck.
See the waving yellow up in the corner. She didn't see it, and a huge crash. Back to green flag racing again. Alex Gurney leads the field around again, and then this one. Matthew Al-Hadif and Zach Arnold off into what they call China Beach.
And they're still there as we speak.
The fans trying to watch the extraction process down at the end of the back straightaway, and those guys so far off that the wreckers don't have cables long enough to get to them, so they've dispatched a tractor to try to pull them out. As the cars circulate around, you see Zach Arnold in the number 55 Corvette, and then Matthew Al-Hadif. I think betting on another full course caution in the next 20 laps is not a far out bet at all. Up from 19th to 5th right now on the racetrack, and it wouldn't matter where that car finishes right now. Just the fact that it is out there is amazing. We sat here yesterday afternoon going, absolutely no way. Max Angelelli, the biggest mover, 14 positions, 19th to 5th.
This race is about to get real ugly because of that number 10 SunTrust Pontiac, because it now has caught the tail end of the OT. See the flashing lights telling the GT car, I'm coming through too. The one to look out for now is the 10. Max Angelelli is catching these guys, and they're all going to have to step up their game to get in front.
And the top 5 Daytona prototypes are right there. Borcello, we know he has to pit. We heard Scott Pruitt's crew say, we can't race anybody right now. We've got to conserve fuel. Leitzinger, does he have the fuel in the tank to make it to the end? Court Wagner doesn't know if the O2 does. And then Max Angelelli in the 10 on a charge. Can any of these guys make it to the end? And Leitzinger looking in on Pruitt.
And this is because, like I said, as a driver, you just saw the 10 car making a 5-car race. Now the strategy's out the window. Forget the drafting. We got to defend from the rear. We got to do that by getting by and moving to the front.
And you wonder, has Scott Pruitt reached over and turned that fuel mixture up to Rich? Is it time to go? He can no longer afford to be held up, and there's the move.
Beautiful move to the inside, sets up Terry, slots into the inside. Now he's on the run. Here comes also Butch Leitzinger. This is a very tight place to pass.
They have now played their hand. No, they cannot afford to wait anymore. And now Pruitt letting it all hang out. It is time to go. Borcheller holding up Leitzinger a little bit. Let's check the top 5 at the line.
Just go down 3 positions. There you go. Go back up 1, +1.
You heard the crew on the radio saying up 2 positions. That's on the fuel mixture. Run it a little richer. Give it a little more fuel. Let's go, guys. Johansson on Borcheller.
All the strategies played out now. Guys are going from lean to rich. They're turning the horsepower out. They want to get to the front. You better catch Pruitt. He's set sail.
It's like the Tour de France. Everybody drafting for a while. 20 laps to go. You hear him saying, it's time to break out. It's time to go.
No more conserve. Whatever fuel you got, it doesn't make any difference. Take a look at the 10. Max Angelelli looking now to get past Borcheller as well. Borcheller needs to make his pit stop. He's falling off on speed.
Yeah, he did not get the run that time. He is brought back to
stay in front of these guys.
Save what you can and stay in front of these guys. You heard it on the radio. I'm not sure whose crew that was. It was Pruitt's crew. Being told that was Pruitt's crew. Still saying, save as much as you can. Angelelli inside Borcheller. No, not now, not this corner. Chris.
Brian down here with Wayne Taylor, a guy who's obviously going through an emotional roller coaster ride the past 24 hours. 24 hours, there you go. Your car was burned up. Right now, you guys are threatening for the lead.
Yeah, you know, all these guys behind me did all this today, and the strategies worked out pretty well. We up to 4th. I think some of the leading cars left the pit for fuel, so it's going to be very close.
How are you guys on fuel?
We're very tight, but I think we'll be okay.
Seems like everybody's still holding their cards a little bit close to their chest on the fuel situation, but Wayne was giving me a nod like they're okay.
Angelelli's furious. He's flashing lights at Terry Borcheller. He wants by now.
But this is it. Patience in the championship. The new improved Max Angelelli. He cannot lose his cool. All that work, 250 man-hours, $150,000, and the championship. He cannot throw it away by making a mad move on Terry Borcheller.
In my book, all these guys still need a yellow to make this work for them. I don't think any of those cars really is safe on going the whole way on fuel.
Look at Angelelli. It's not going to happen back here through madness. This is where he tried to get it done the last time. 64 car just in front of him, the GT leader. Angelelli with a good run through there. He's going to have to use traffic, I believe, to get past Terry Borcheller as they work around the 65 Pontiac GTO-R. It seems that the Pontiac Dorn of Terry Borcheller has had great straight line speed all day long. Dorsey is getting down the straightaways here at Mid-Ohio very well, all making those out-braking maneuvers at the end of the straightaway very, very difficult.
There's the flashing lights again. 2 reasons. Let him know he's back there and he's aggravating. He went by and also trying to distract him. 25 minutes to go. These guys are on the pipe now. Everybody all the way go. Full rich. You know, let's play the cards. Let's go.
And somewhere in this next 24 and a half minutes, at least one of the top 5 will have to come to pit road. And who knows, it could be all 5 of them.
I think all 5 of them, to be quite honest about it. I mean, it is going to be close. Everybody's said that.
Well, you will not miss a thing. We've got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll see how all of this strategy plays out. It is evening, and visibility now is going to become an issue. Our cameras brighten things up. It is not that bright when we look out the windows here of our booth. And there's the green Pruitt. Oh, and Leitzinger up the big jump.
Up the inside. Leitzinger's going to get it in turn 1. He's going to get it.
He does. Leitzinger gets the lead, and then Johansson right behind Pruitt in the break. I thought I heard Pruitt's crew say, don't go full rich until you get through the keyhole. He needed to go full rich when he came onto the front straightaway.
You're right. They told him to go 10 out of 12 and then go 12 now in the back straightaway. It cost him the lead going in turn 1.
Butch Leitzinger, a great restart, pounced and is now pulling out from Pruitt. Then it's Stefan Johansson, Pruitt's teammate, in third. Now, you know those guys want to win, but the 01 car is thinking championship. Is the crew telling 02, hold up the 10, this is about the championship, guys, or is it every man for himself, Dorsey?
Well, it is a championship, so I would say that, no, I would say that the 2 has been told the 10's back there, do not let him get up to the 01.
But not like Stefan Johansson is the type of driver to make it easy for anyone to get past, but right now, if he can hold up the 10, Scott Pruitt and Luis Diaz will gain valuable points on Max Angelelli and Wayne Taylor. All of these cars right now that you see streaming into the picture are all for position.
Every one of these guys knows it's under 10 minutes. Watch at the line, we're going to see the split. There's not going to be any.
This is the top 10 at the line.
This is where the driver knows. It always comes down to this. Somehow, right at the end, you're going to have a 10-minute sprint to the finish. This is all for all the marbles. Show them what you got, boys.
A little over 8 minutes left, and the question is still, will these guys make it? I'm not sure. They all said they need it.
Look at Pruitt. Pruitt really attacking Butch Leitzinger.
That is the best drive I've seen Scott Pruitt get off the keyhole all day long. Will it be enough this time? The Crawford, very slippery in the air, a very streamlined chassis.
Butch
good straight line speed. Pruitt.
No, just going to chop him. It's so close right there. Scott wants his position back. He wants his lead.
I think Pruitt is the faster car through this section of the racetrack. What we call madness, but you can't pass back here, Dorsey. The passes need to happen in the braking zone.
The other thing is, how good did everybody get their tires scrubbed clean? If Butch's car is pushing right now because the front tires don't have the grip, and it looks to me like it is, he's going to leave himself a gap sooner, and Scott's going to be in there.
Excellent call. It does look like Leitzinger struggling with the handling just a bit. Pruitt all over the back end of that Boss snowplow Pontiac Crawford.
Watch the angle of the front tires, Brian. You can see how much he's got to turn the wheel to get the car to make it to the corner. He's got understeer, and that leaves you vulnerable for a deep pass to the inside.
And this racetrack, that's one of the handling characteristics that the track is known for. It's always been a pushy racetrack. Always hard to get the car to bite in the middle of the corners.
Leitzinger in trouble here, no question about it. Scott does have the faster car. Butch is going to have to be defensive on every one of these corners, slow up the entry, and slow Scott up, too.
Pruitt needs that drive off of the keyhole this time. I don't know if he got it or not. You saw him trying to make the out-braking move. I don't believe he has it this time. See the gap that was pulled there.
The trick for Leitzinger right now is to slow his car up on the entry, but also make sure that he slows the 0-1 up. Don't let the 0-1 get the run off the corner that he's getting at you, because he'll get you before the next corner if you let that happen.
Pruitt knows if I'm stuck up underneath the back end of this car coming onto the long straightaway, if Butch slows up, he's going to balk me. I need to get a little run on him. That's the strategy, and it comes down, Dorsey, to just a matter of feet a lot of times. You got to be close enough to be in the draft, but you can't let the guy balk you at the apex and delay your throttle.
That's what he's doing. He's trying to balk the 0-1 and break the momentum. On the other hand, the 0-1 needs to back away about 1 car length so that he doesn't get trapped in the brake zone, gets the better run off the corner, and launches down the straightaway. That's what these two guys are up to right now.
Pruitt, awesome on the brakes. He always has been, from his open wheel days to his sports car days, and that's what he needs right now. Good braking in that Lexus Riley, that Comp USA entry, so that he can get alongside Butch Leitzinger. But Leitzinger, seeing the lead, is not going to want to give that up. Bill Riley looking on. It's all about championship from here on out. Stick with us. We'll be back for the checkers when we come back. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the EMCO Gears Classic, and it is a classic battle indeed, Dorsey. Scott Pruitt still trying to find a way around Butch Leitzinger.
As I thought, though, Butch's tires in the front now have got some grip. They finally got him back in. He's got his balance back, and he's able to get some runs off of these corners that he wasn't getting before. I think he can hold Scott off now.
The best thing happening for Scott Pruitt right now, if he can't get past Butch Leitzinger, Stefan Johansson in the 02, the New Century Mortgage entry, holding up Max Angelelli in the number 10 Pontiac Riley, the SunTrust entry. It's all about championship, and Johansson comes to pit road.
There's that strategy. He's out of fuel, no question about that.
If Johansson is out of fuel, what is Pruitt's situation? Johansson, the agonizing drive down pit road to his stop. Pruitt still all over the back of Butch Leitzinger. What about these two cars? Do they have fuel or do they not? Calvin.
This will be a time stop, about 3 or 4 seconds of fuel on Johansson. They get the top on the head of the refuel. He's back underway. Just checked in with the 01 crew. Tim Keen said, yes, we are good on fuel. We can't run maximum mixture, but we're good to the finish. So that's the answer. Let's hope that their sums are right, Brian.
Well, maximum mixture. They're going to cut back the horsepower a little bit. Horsepower is what he needs. You wonder if Dorsey, if he couldn't back off and lean it up a little bit through the infield and then turn it to full ridge down the straightaway where he needs that power. Meanwhile, the 10's on the chart.
It really just depends on how tight they are, and they are not telling to anybody. They know. They're the only ones that do know. I think Butch is in pretty good shape. I mean, he's got the car back into balance. I don't see the push that it had before, but Scott wants the position, wants it badly. I wonder about his fuel.
As well as the 01 car is handling through the tight stuff, I wonder if they couldn't lean it up just a bit in there, still stay with Leitzinger, still stay close, but as they come through the keyhole, reach over, twist the knob, load it with fuel, and go.
3 laps to go right now. It looks like as they come by the line, that's plenty of time for Pruitt to get it done, but he's got a new problem. It's called the number 10.
Let's go,
this
buddy.
is for the championship.
Let's get him.
That's the championship contenders running second and third, and the 10 is coming.
We're in round 10. Look at Pruitt up the inside, just trying to balk, trying to fluster Leitzinger a little bit, but it does take his line away through the corner. See if he gets the run off. Angelelli gets a good run as well, and now it looks pretty even on the run down to the end of the straightaway.
Scott better forget about Butch right now. Forget about that win. He's got to keep that 10 behind him, and the 10's got more speed right now. So for Scott, quit being aggressive and start being defensive.
But does the 10 have more fuel? Remember, Bill Riley said, I don't know. We need a yellow. Did they save enough under the yellow? I don't know. You can throw a blanket over the top 3.
Remember, once again, that the championship is right there in second and third place. They can neither one afford to wreck one another or wreck themselves, because that 4 car is not going to be a player at the end of this thing.
You're exactly right. Max Angelelli needs to realize Scott Pruitt may collect a couple of points on him, but he cannot throw away the championship by crashing out of this deal. We've said it before. 250 man-hours, $150,000 repairing that car. It now runs third. Will they have enough fuel to make it to the end? Calvin, what do you have on the 4?
On the 4 car, they're saying they're golden on fuel, no problem whatsoever. And the good thing for Butch Leitzinger, he's been in this position before. He and James Weaver won the ALMS race here earlier in the season, Brian. Look for his second sports car win of the year in Mid-Ohio.
White flag next time.
White flag next time is what we're being told. The Crawford has always had excellent straight line speed. Scott Pruitt, his attention is turning, I believe, from the 4 car to the 10, as you said, but the 19 right there behind Memo Gidley now beginning to pressure Max Angelelli.
The 19 doesn't need to be in this thing. If I was the 10 and the 01, looking back at the 19, that's one more aggravation, because he's not running for the championship either. He's running for a win today.
And the other thing that they'll have to deal with, you got a little blush of it right there. GT traffic would not be at all out of the question to catch it. And traffic can play a major role here. We've seen the guys use it to their advantage. We've seen other guys be balked by it.
Go to reserve when you can. Go to reserve when you can.
Reserve.
That means it stumbled. Somebody stumbled along there and they're going to a reserve tank.
I believe that was Pruitt's radio. The crew saying, go to reserve when you can. Does he have enough to go another 2.5 miles?
That's the question right there. Does he have enough in that reserve to go that far?
Will the championship come down to ounces of fuel at Mid-Ohio GT
Traffic in the way, Brian. Butch Leitzinger, this last lap, all he has to do is drive his race car, put it on the money, man. Every mark, hit every mark perfectly. Be defensive in your brake zones. Don't let anybody go up the inside of you.
The white flag being waved. A great job by Todd Hansen in the Pontiac GTO, clearing the way, getting out of the way. Zach Arnold in the 55 as well, saying, I don't want to have any part of this. The DP leader streaming through.
And the 10 car putting a lot of pressure right now, trying anything to get some kind of a run on it. The 01, that's for the championship points right there. Butch isn't in that hunt right now, but he's going to win this race, I believe.
This is it. Under 2 miles to go. Does Pruitt have enough fuel in the tank to finish in front of the 10? If I were him, I'd reach over. We know he's on reserve. I'd reach over. I'd lean it out as much as he can. The move by Max Angelelli would have to be spectacular to get past Pruitt back here through Madness and through Thunder Valley. Butch Leitzinger's teammate, Elliott Forbes Robinson, looking on. Leitzinger driving for all he's worth. And Pruitt really pressuring.
pressure. There's not much time left to go, Brian. There's like 2 more passing opportunities, but they're both low percentage risky maneuvers I don't think Scott Pruitt can afford to take.
The biggest passing opportunity may be if the 4-car stumbles. They say they have enough fuel. I'm not sure I believe any of these guys right now. Through the last corner, onto the front straightaway. Butch Leitzinger, Elliott Forbes Robinson, the boss snowplow, Pontiac Crawford wins at Mid-Ohio. What a race. Strategy, combat, speed.
And hats off to the guys in the 10 Sun Trust, rebuilding a car that was burnt to the ground last night and bringing it to a 3rd place.
There's a good look at the number 21, the PTG BMW, being shared by Tom Miller Jr., Kelly Collins, and RJ Valentine. I don't know that RJ has been in the car today, but that will be your GT leader through turn 11. We're being told RJ Valentine did not get in the car, but the 21 car will win GT. Celebration on the part of the Boss Snowplow team, Butch Leitzinger and Elliott Forbes Robinson. A tremendous job here at Mid-Ohio. Takes the checkered flag. GT is settled. Let's check in with Calvin Fish.
Elliott Forbes Robinson, 2nd win of the year. What a nail biter this one was. Well, I'll tell you, it was more exciting than I needed. You know, at my age, I don't need this stuff. Now, this was great. Butch drove so well tonight. He was just awesome. And, you know, the car came to us, and it was really good. But he did such a heck of a job here at the end getting by these guys. It was great. There's no give up in this team, right? No, sir, not this team. And championship is not over, right? Well, we're going to keep trying because we figure we still got a shot. All right, mate, well done. Thanks, Calvin.
They will never give up. You know, had a chance to work with Elliott Forbes Robinson a couple of weeks ago at the Mid-Ohio School. This very racetrack, it looks like maybe he does know his way around. We'll be back. And you talk about action. We saw plenty of it here today, and it seems like we saved the best for last. Calvin?
I'm down here with the winners, and Butch Leitzinger, you're pretty good at this place, mate.
Oh, it's only the preparation of the team. And we, Scott and I had a really good race. He was faster in some places than we were faster, and fortunately we were faster in 1 and on the back straight, which were the 2 best places to pass. And so the places where he was faster, he couldn't do much with it, and he was all over me. But as long as I kept it on the tarmac, it was all right.
You made so many passes down into turn 1, and the restart, you really stuck it in there, and Scott played the game and gave you enough room, it looked like.
He did. He actually he returned the favor at Laguna when I gave it to him. I blocked him some, but I left him enough to get through, and he did the same for me this time. So it's always nice racing against Scott.
Superb job. 2nd sports car win of the year here at Mid-Ohio for Butch Leitzinger. Chris?
Cal down here with Max Angelelli. Max, we know you always want to win. That's about the only thing you want to do. However, this 3rd place finish is probably the most important of the year for you guys with what's happened in the last 24.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. This goes definitely everything to the team. They repaired the car. In less than 12 hours, was completely burned out. That was amazing. I thought we're not going to race, but they made it. I mean, that's only them. I didn't do anything special. They did something special, and they did it overnight. They have 36 hours. No sleep is amazing. They are still there. It's for them.
Amazing feat by this SunTrust team, and as you can see, he's congratulating his team. It was really these guys. They've been pulling about 40-hour day.
You know, Bob Riley told me this morning this is about 15 men that refused to lose the championship. That's how that car got rebuilt.
Look at the results. EFR and Butch Leitzinger with the win. And you run down those top 6 cars you see all nose to tail at the checkered flag. Just a tremendous race as you look through the rest of the top 12. Great job by the Frizzell brothers. The bad luck stayed away this time. They end up with a good finish. And as you run through the rest of the pack, we talk about the 10 car, and you can't say enough about it. I would say 1 year ago, Max Angelelli would not have had that type of patience to finish 3rd.
Tom, talk us through your part of the race. Kelly started, you took it over, and the Pontiac looked strong out there, but they had problems, and you brought it home.
Yeah, fortunately, we got lucky with the 64 car braking, so awesome job, Scott and Larry. The car was a bit off all weekend, and the race, the car was best it's been all weekend, so credit to them. They did an awesome job. Kelly, awesome job, too. I just put my head down. I had no traffic the whole time. I just kept running, run smooth. You know, that's it, and then here we are, 1st place.
Awesome job, guys. Well done.
The F1 Air PTG BMW takes the victory. Obviously, Kelly Collins was excited. We'll apologize for his language a little bit as you look through the top 6 there. Tough luck for the boys at Pontiac. They had cars 1 and 2, but could not bring it home on the top step of the podium. As you look back through, Matthew Al-Hadif and Gene Siegel, a great run for them to finish where they did after the problems that they had